Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Career Cravings podcast. Today, I am so excited for this episode because I have my first ever guest with me.
That
Welcome
is
to the
right.
episode. So, I have never had a guest on before, but it's such an inspirational story that you have gone through. And I love that you are such an incredible support. And you recently surprised me and joined me at my masterclass where afterwards the feedback from the things that you shared just in the comments inspired so many people. So I know that today I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, pick your brain on how the process actually was, because I know you were just in the chat. It was hard to really communicate that. So I'm so happy you're here. Before we dive in, I guess what made you decide to join that day? Because you had already gone through the master class, you had already landed your job, but I was so surprised to see you there in the most positive way. And I'd love to know why did you join that day?
So there are two main reasons why I joined. The first one was listening to you is a therapy for me. So it's like people they go to the therapists, right, to talk about their feelings, about the situations in life. And I believe like being a career coach, it's nothing different. It's exactly the same. Because for me, when I didn't have a job or I was laid off and I was moving countries and states, so in that situation, not being financially, independent, and I lost the confidence in me. So whenever I would listen to you when I was in your program, it would always boost up my confidence, and I would have a new direction to start my day, and
It's
to go
beautiful.
back and search my job and get through it. So that was one thing I really missed that when I got my job and I was working, I was missing that. So I thought, let me just go in and listen to you once again to be more positive about life and to realize or reflect where I was and where I am today. So once I joined, I realized I wasn't alone. There are so many people like me who are in the same boat. So I thought that if I am coming in and I'm just supporting, because I was just like while I was listening to you, I was also going through the chat and I was seeing people were saying what their situation is. And I just wanted to share my experience with them, help them understand that it will definitely be beneficial if they like take your support and get into the job market. And I didn't realize that they would be able to connect with me so much, and my chat or my messages would like they will read it actually, and
Yes.
then they can connect with it. So that's how things went ahead. But then my main reason was to listen to you once more.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. And I love that. There are so many parts of your story that I want to dive into because you were so authentic and raw in the chat. And anyone would give kind of details about their situation. And you were just like, I have been there. Like, I have literally moved countries too. I didn't know if I should do this. And you answered so many people's questions. And so sweet of you to also offer to chat with them in the DMs after. And then the feedback I got was just incredible. So I don't want to leave everyone waiting and hanging. Let's just dive in. So before our journey started together, before we ever met, tell me, where were you at in life, in your career, in your job search process before we connected?
So I was born and raised in India, but then I moved to Canada around back in 2019. And then I was working, everything was good, but suddenly one day I got to know that I was getting laid off. My whole department was going to get laid off. So yeah, that was difficult to process. It was the first time I ever experienced something like that. I got to realize what things are. But since then, like things were rough from there, but I somehow managed to get another job. And that's when we realized that we are moving from Canada to the US because my husband's job transfer. So I just got a job, but then I had to leave that and then move to US and then started off at Florida. Initially, we were at Florida. Again, I got a job there. And within a few days, I was again laid off. Again, the whole department was laid off. It was like deja vu for me, going through the same thing again and again. And that's when I again realized that my husband needs to move again to California. So this constant shifts and getting laid off and finding a job, it was exhausting for me. And beginning of 2024, I one day while I was scrolling through Instagram, I got to know about you, went through your reels and stuff, and then followed you in LinkedIn. Since then, I was following you, but I wasn't in that situation or financially dependent. Like financially, I didn't have the independence to, invest. So that's the situation. I
Mhm.
was thinking, let me just go through the different suggestions that we get through in LinkedIn. There are different career coaches available out there sharing all their thoughts and processes. So I was implementing them, but it wasn't working. So that's the situation I was in, and it was very frustrating. It was very depressing. I was losing my self confidence. That's the reason I came back to your listening to your masterclass once
Mm.
again, because those were the moments where it was therapy for me, listening to you, understanding how things are, how we can get over it. Nothing is impossible. How you motivate people, how you support people to take the stand for themselves and get through it, that you're not alone. That really, really, really did a lot of, motivation that I needed to move on in life. So that's the
Oh, thank
reason,
you
like
so
where I
much for
was.
sharing. And you've gone through so much. I mean, it's not easy to immigrate as an adult, and you did that twice. So it's like you uprooted, moved from India to Canada, and then your husband's job, of course, was moving multiple times, and then again to restart and move to the US and start again, and then face multiple layoffs. Those, I mean, I can see those being dark days, of course, and restarting again multiple times. And I love what you said. It's like you started taking action. You were like, okay, I'm going to follow a multitude of different coaches and get advice and like try to piece together a strategy that would work, right? So that you can find your next role thing. And what was the first step you took? Was it an initial masterclass that you joined? How did you learn more about HR Star in that process?
Yes, exactly. I joined the masterclass like everyone does, taking the first step, trying to understand how things goes on from there, what are the steps that needed to be done. And it was so well structured and so well explained by you that it looked very promising that, I should enroll because I could connect so well, and the points or the issues or the roadblocks that you were exactly talking about are the roadblocks that I was facing. And I'm sure everyone is in the same phase, so they also do understand that. So that is when I connected through the masterclass, and then I was a bit hesitant, like I don't didn't know how do I manage the financial investment. But then, yeah, with time, I decided that let's go for it. So that's when I
Yes.
enrolled.
Let's go back to that point because, of course, it's so natural to feel skeptical. Like, I hear that all the time because you don't know if it's going to work for you. And you're like, listen, I've tried a lot of things and there's been multiple layoffs and so on. What was like a big, like an aha moment for you where you're like, no, this does sound like the right next step? What made you go from like, that skeptical kind of mindset and thinking about, I'm not sure if this will work, to no, this sounds like the right thing for me, even though there was like that financial, concern, really.
So honestly, enrolling in your Just Start program was the last resort for me because I tried everything, updating my resume and then reaching out to recruiters every day, applying every day, but still something or the other, I wasn't getting any calls. There was like auto rejections, like that happens all the time with ATS. You wake up in the morning and you see that there are rejections at the midnight. I mean, at 2 a.m., who sends you rejection email? So it's obviously it was ATS. So those are the things, like I had done everything that was possibly I could from my end. And I knew that
Mhm.
like the only next thing that is left for me would be to enroll in your masterclass and see what goes from there. So that's the reason. And then I could also connect with what you were saying, how things work out. So I thought let's go for it. But yeah, that's how I
Amazing.
ended up.
And what was like that moment like when you're like, I'm doing it and you made it official and you enrolled? What did that feel like for you?
So honestly, to be very frank, I didn't have the financial stability, like I said, because I didn't have a
Mhm.
job. So the money was the main concern. How do I pay for it? So I reached out to my husband and I said that I would like to join. And he said, no worries, like I'll give you the money, just enroll. But I did promise that I would pay it back once I have a job. I would definitely pay it back. And that was another motivation that I had in me, the zeal in me, that I need to pay him back. So
Mm.
I will make the most usage of this career coaching program. So that was another, challenge that I took up on me, that I need to pay him back. So I need to ensure that it works for me. And definitely once I joined in, things were very different. You helped me with my pitch, that I never thought that I can speak in that way, in that manner. I mean, in that 60 to 90 seconds, I could share so many information about me, even not being asked about it, but I You know how you connect the dots and how you speak with one thing and the other. You're jumping and you're saying everything, but you aren't going fast, or you are not confusing the person you're talking to. So when I had my pitch, you created it for me. It was so different. I mean, if I being on the other side of the table, if I read that pitch myself, I would be interested in the candidate. So, and when
Mm.
you know that you are the candidate, that also, that's a different kind of an emotion, understanding that you are the person. Additionally, the way the resume was, tweaked, and the way when I connected to you on one, I realized that yes, I do have the skills, or I did this kind of roles I did support. Earlier I thought that these are the roles that I never done, these are the aspects of HR that I've never touched. But then when I spoke to you, or when I enrolled and I went through the modules, I realized I actually did that. But when you're constantly being in a job you're doing, you don't record everything, you don't remember whatever you did. But then this program did realize that I have done this kind of work, and I can definitely add them in my resume. Also, how you can convert them into numbers and figures. That's a different ball game. I didn't understand how to convert those figures, and because that highlights in your resume and it gives a differently, it would be eye catching if you have those numbers on your resume, how much increase you have done or how much profit you have got for the organization. So those are the
I love
different
that.
changes that you found.
I love that. You know, what you said about the confidence first, it's so hard to explain to someone who's never gone through it. But when you're coming from applying in a place where your confidence has been broken from the rejections, all those auto rejections, like you mentioned, from layoffs, and you're applying with a resume that reflects that, whether you know it or not, that's not going to get calls back. That's not attractive to prospective employers. And sometimes it just takes that like external person to be like, you have done this. Like, of course you're the right candidate, right? So that's why I loved that resume transformation meeting too, where we just dove and like it's a good reminder for you on all of the amazing things that you've done, right? To build that confidence. And then the pitch, like you mentioned, comes after that with that newfound confidence. Like, how do you actually tell that story in a way that's going to land once you do start landing those interviews, right? So tell me, how long before you joined, how long were you applying for without the results you were looking for?
I would say almost like 6 months, and maybe I hardly got one or two interviews during the whole time. And then
In
because I
6 months?
wasn't, yeah, in 6 months, hardly one to two interviews. And then because I wasn't getting any interviews or getting any callbacks, so I was adamant that, during these interviews, I need to get these jobs. And with that approach, when I spoke with the recruiter, or maybe during the very first round that I could clear up, it was, I think right now, when I reflect back, I see that I was being very open to let the people understand that that is what I'm wanting. So my approach was very different, that I need the job. So it was very evident for people to understand. So that
That
approach
needy
changed. And yeah,
energy. Oh my goodness.
exactly.
I
And that
love that you said this because so many people apply from that place and then they get that one interview. And it's been a long time, it's been months. And then you come on like, I need this. Like, I need this bad. And that desperate energy actually pushes away prospective employers. But I totally get why so many people come in with that energy because it does feel at that point like a desperate situation when you don't receive many calls back, right? You put a lot of pressure on that conversation, and the more pressure, then the more nervous you feel, and the more nervous you are, the
exactly.
less you can act confidently and explain all of your experience in a confident way because there's just so much pressure. Like it's like a do or die moment.
Yeah, it
And
would mess things up. Yeah.
and
Exactly. I
it's
would
totally
totally mess
natural.
things up. I would fumble, and I know that I am losing it. I could feel that, and that energy would kick in right there. Maybe it would be on my face. My expression would directly show that, I am messing things up. And yeah, of course,
And
I
that makes
didn't
it
get
worse.
to
As
the
soon
next.
as you start thinking, I'm messing things up, as soon as you tell yourself in that interview moment, I have messed something up, that's it. It's like the negative thoughts will spiral and it's so much more challenging to recover once you're in that nervous kind of energy. Okay, got it. So before it's like 6 months, couple interviews, they didn't end up going the way that you wanted. And what was the first thing after the confidence, after that resume transformation, what was the first thing that happened that told you like, huh, I think it's working?
I think I forgot to mention that part, that was very positive for me when I joined into your program was attending those HR star coaching calls. So that was a huge transformation for me because when I joined, when I met people who are in the same boat, going through the exact same feelings made me realize I am not alone. So, like I said, that I was fumbling a lot when going through those interviews, and I initially when I was speaking during the coaching calls, I would fumble a lot. But then with time, I gained my confidence back, and I was ready with my answers, or I was very confident in saying what I needed to say or express my feelings. So that was one shift that instantly happened. Other than that, I was also very much confident and positive regarding my resume or my pitch. So I would always apply knowing that I just need to get that call. From there, I know I can take it over from there because during our calls, we were also speaking about our blind spots and understanding our questions on like all the difficult questions. So I would listen to others as well on the coaching calls, understand their scenarios, and then, prepare how I need to respond to those questions. So I would always be preparing myself. So I knew that I just needed to get the call. Additionally, you said by when, like, if I am an early applicant, it would be great for me to get a call back because my resume would be reviewed by them. Additionally, I am setting the right notifications so that I get notified
Mm.
when there's a job posting or the different approach through which I should be reaching out to the recruiters or network, not the regular approach. So those things were different. I was already implementing them and I knew that I just need to get the call and I'm ready. I will be a different Upasana when I go into the call right now. All I need is I just need them to get in touch with me. So that drastically changed since I joined your
I
coaching
love
program. So
that confidence, and I love what you said about learning from others in the same situation and having that community aspect, because I hear all the time people will join my coaching program because they wanna work with me, and that's amazing, and then later I hear feedback, they're like, "I learned so much from this person who was on the call, and they asked this question, and then I was asked in the interview, like, the next week that same question, I knew exactly how to handle it." And there's so much learning that comes from one another as well that we tend to underestimate because it's a really lonely feeling, right? When you think you're the only one who's been affected by layoffs, who's had to restart and, move countries or um, isn't hearing back from the roles that you're qualified for, right? So getting that community, I love that. And so your confidence drastically changed. You're like, listen, if they call me, they're going to love me. I'm ready for these interviews. And when did you actually start landing interviews and what happened next?
when I was ready and was totally looking forward for interviews, that was the holiday season. So that was around December. So of course, like I was prepared to not hear back, but
I
there were
told you you
people,
wouldn't
yeah,
hear back. I'm pretty sure I told you, like,
exactly.
"Guys, things slow down
Yes,
during the holidays, not very many offers go out." People because it was, like, literally that week between Christmas and New Year's, so I'm like, decision makers are away, and yeah, it was incredible what happened next. Okay, so it's the holidays, you're applying
yes.
with not much hope, I guess.
Yes, exactly. But you did prepare us all that it's going to be slow, but you need to, if you see there are postings, there will be postings because once they are back, they're going to start diving into hiring those open positions. So there were postings. I would constantly apply. Other than that, what I would do is I would prepare my answers, go through it and read in front of the mirror or like say it out loud, see how I'm speaking, what my body language is. I was constantly working on that because I had that time during that phase, so I would do that, but I was constantly applying and not hearing back. Of course, a little bit of demotivation is always there, but then I knew that why this is the scenario right now. But what exactly happened was on December 1st, when I was out with my husband, like exploring California. Suddenly, I get a call that, "Are you comfortable? Are you open to speak?" I mean, one of my former colleagues when I was in Canada, but the person is like she is in US. She suddenly called me like, "My organization is looking forward to hire someone in HR, and I think you're the right person to be fit for this role. Do you have some time to speak with my CFO right now?" And I was like, "I am outside."
New Year's
I'm not
Eve.
ready. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. I said, "Okay, no problem. Not right now. Then how about tomorrow?" I said, "Okay, sure." Like I would do that. And I was like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" It's like I totally unexpected. And I didn't even apply for the job. I didn't know anything that's happening. So coming back, like taking two steps behind, what exactly happened was you have also told me and like my the other people who were in the program to be very active in LinkedIn. So that is what I was doing. I was posting or commenting on the HR forums, being highlighted and then posting all the time. So that is how the person found that I am looking for jobs. I am in California, and they directly reached out to me because there was no posting for this
Love
job.
that.
Exactly. And then on 1st January, I got the call. It was like around 30 minutes of uh, understanding what I have done, what role have I have done, what are my specifications or specializations. And I was ready because I was preparing the whole December. So I was, though it was 1st of January, no one would be aware of how situations should be, how to answer the calls at that point of time. But I was ready because I have been doing my homework all the time. So the interview went very well. And on that call itself, I was told that we'll be sending you the offer in a day or two. It's like I didn't have to wait after the call to know the decision. It was right then I was told. And I was, after the interview, I just walked out of my room. It was like a virtual interview. So I walked out of my room and I told my husband that I was told that I'm going to get the offer. They're working on the paperwork right now. I was like, what exactly is happening? Just pinch me. Is this true? So yeah, that's how it happened to me.
That's so beautiful. It's like so unexpected. You're just going into New Year's. I would never think that someone would have on New Year's Day their interview or offer sent. But I love a couple of things that you said. It's like candidates that are confident from your conversation, they knew you were the right person as soon as they spoke to you. And you knew that as soon as someone would actually interview you, it would probably go very well. And it did because of all the preparation that you took and all the steps that you took up until that point. So amazing. Things happened so quickly. I remember being so surprised when we got back to our first coaching call afterwards. I was like, wait, what? How is this possible? It was such an incredible moment to celebrate with you as well. What did your husband think at that point? What did he say when you're like, I think I'm getting an offer?
Yeah, and he was like, wow, I mean, what exactly happened? 2 days back, you were like, I mean, you were prepared to wait for a few more months because it's like January, you're going to, you were like really pumped up for January that you will be start getting calls and stuff like that. What happened suddenly out of the blue, everything worked out? I said, yeah, I mean, I knew that I was only waiting for a call. Once the call came in, I know how to take things from there. Everything was ready. My elevator speech and all my answers were ready. So yeah, things worked out. And he was very happy for me. He said that he had the confidence in me. That's the reason he was like immediately willing to support when I said I wanted to go into the calls. I mean, to join your career coaching. So yes, he was definitely over the moon, right? Like just like me.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And where are you now? So you got that offer and tell me more about what your career looks like today.
So that offer was a contractual offer for 2 months. And so I started like 2 days after, I think on 3rd of January, I started. And you won't believe. So all the organizations were coming back after the vacations and the holiday
Yes.
season, right? And I just started working. I'm trying to learn everything. And I was getting responses from the applications that I did in December. So, and I had interviews lined up. I just joined the organization where I need to show my potential that I am doing well. And at that point in time, every day, like the whole next 3 weeks, I had interviews scheduled. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I mean, do I need to focus here or do I focus there? But honestly, because it was a new job and I was learning everything, I didn't have much time to go prepare myself before going into for those interviews. But that shift that I had, like earlier, I would like prepare the day before for my interview, understanding the organization or the job description, and doing a bit research of the recruiter who I'm going to speak with and stuff like that. But here, I would just have the maybe 10 minutes before just to understand the job description and dive into the interview. And I was scared that it is a 1 hour of call. What will I do in those calls? And then you won't believe the confidence that I had. I didn't prepare, but I was able to answer or maybe like, create situations and speak about it at that moment. And those 1 hour interviews would go more than an hour. They would say like, if you have some time, can we uh, extend the conversation maybe by 30 minutes? I said, yeah, of course, no problem. And I was feeling like, wow, I like in interviews for more than 1 hour and I am being my best self, where I would like freak out in maybe in 10, 15 minutes. And out of those interviews, there were multiple interviews where I went into the final round, but I did get offer, another offer I did get. And though the current role that I'm in, the one that I got in January, the first offer, it was a remote role. So, and I wanted to be here where I am right now, but the other offer was with a higher compensation and it was a full time role as well, and it needed me to travel quite a bit. But then that's
Yes.
when you helped me. I reached out to you and then you supported me in doing these conversations and negotiations. And right now, because of your help and how you supported me with the negotiations, I am in this remote role with a full time opportunity. It's like no longer a contractual role, and even they matched my pay with the other offer that I had, they matched it. So everything is well. I'm in a full remote role. I don't need to travel anywhere. I have my flexibility and I'm also getting the pay that I needed. And I'm in a much better mental state right now. Things change drastically. The smile that you see on my face
Yeah.
6 months back, it wasn't there. I was always worried. What would I do? How would I like proceed from here? Where is life taking me? But right now, this is the new me, the me that I had lost. So all thanks to you. You are the reason. And that's the reason I joined your masterclass, because I needed that therapy. It's like it's available and you're going to speak. So why shouldn't I just join back and see and reflect back to everything?
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And first of all, what an exciting place to be. So you start, okay, let's just go back 6 months, couple interviews, the confidence is shaky, you're not really sure. Then you start applying, you're ready, you're finally ready. You have your confidence, you start applying around the holidays. I tell you, you know what, you're probably not going to hear back very much until January. You end up getting one offer through your network. Incredible, right? Because it's always so much easier to interview and to, well, not the timing of the interview, but it's so much easier to be confident in an interview when you're already working, right? When you have an option. So you're there. And then how many interviews did you start getting in that early January period when you were already working?
I think 3 to 4 organizations had reached out to me from the applications that I did in December. So they were back to
Beautiful.
back, like, yeah, 1 week of this companies, maybe 2 companies, first round. So I've already scheduled, like the second week is for the second round. So it's like every week, two or three interviews for the different rounds of the interviews that I was having, the second round or third round, stuffs like that. But it was full packed. January was full packed for interviews for me, along with my
Beautiful, and
job.
so quickly. I love that. I mean, to land a remote role, that's another thing I wanna touch on, that so many people it's so much more competitive to get a remote role. That's what so many people are looking for nowadays, and there are, like, thousands instead of hundreds of applicants for those types of roles, and
Exactly.
I loved also that negotiation part with you too, because once you have a role and you have an offer, you have more leverage. So instead of going in with that needy energy, like, I need this interview to go well, you're kind of going in like,
Yeah.
listen, I have an offer. Yes, it's a contract. Hopefully, I get something better. And then you're able to kind of negotiate from that perspective, which you ended up getting everything that you wanted. And I know during the masterclass recently, you were sharing like percentages. Can you share kind of the difference in the offers that you started receiving as well?
I might not be exactly sure about the exact percentage that I don't remember, but I think it was like 34 or something. The initial offer that I got, the remote role, I think it was something 34. And then once I got the other offer and when I negotiated, it was then changed from 34 to 37, something like that. So that's like a 37% increase from what I was getting when I was in Florida. So that's a huge increase and
Incredible.
then it's completely remote. So there's no expenses for traveling. Like I'm saving time. I have my flexibility and I'm not spending anything on traveling or anything like so it's all what I'm earning is in my
Amazing.
hands.
Amazing. So it's like you went from literally not earning any money because you were in between
Exactly.
opportunities to then making 37% more than your last role, which is so fantastic. And I think when you interview more confidently, like you've described, those are the types of increases you also start to attract because you understand your worth. Like you're coming in there with an
Exactly.
understanding of like, no, I have done these things before. I am an incredible candidate and it shows through. So I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now you have Amazing. The career that you wanted. So beautiful. What are you most proud of in achieving for yourself within that process?
I'm proud of finding myself back. The first thing is I got myself back. I had lost myself. So those last 6 months or almost 1 year, I had lost everything. I didn't know who I was. So I was missing this person that I am right now sitting in front of you. So that is one of my biggest achievements. And the second one was I did challenge myself that I need to pay back my husband because he did the investment for me. So it was like with the sign on bonus that I got when I got confirmed, I was able to give it back in one go. So it was like, and feeling that I had taken the right decision at that point in time. It was risky for me. But I took that decision and then I went into it, and I'm being able to uh, get what I wanted out of it. I got out from that situation. I found myself and I was able to repay my husband. And I'm now having the life and the career that I was looking forward to, I was missing. All this
Beautiful.
is, yes, all this is like huge achievements for me. And that is why, like, I try to support the people who are in this position right now. So, because of my feedbacks and because of my reviews that I've shared about you on LinkedIn and other social media places, people do reach out to me all the time trying to understand about my journey and if it would be beneficial to join in or enroll in your coaching program. I would always share my experience with them, the shifts that I had, and why I would recommend them. So, I try to give back to the society as well and, support the
I love
community
that.
in the
Thank you
best way
so much.
possible.
I'm
You did
always
it for
so
me, right?
grateful
I
for
mean,
that.
it is now my responsibility to give back to the other people who are in much, maybe in more, not maybe in much worse situation than me. So it's my responsibility to give back to the people. So I am always trying to do that.
I love that. I love that. And I'm sure, did you have many people reach out on LinkedIn to kind of ask questions and go through what it looks
Yes.
like?
There's
Yes.
a lot of people, lot of people who would reach out to me on LinkedIn a lot. And then some people would even find me on Instagram and reach out to me
It's
there.
wow,
So
it's dedication.
yeah, yeah, so I would always recommend them to reach out to you because I think that you are the fairy god that, just used it and like changed my life. If you can do it for me, I think you can do it for everyone who would ask and reach out for your support. So I would always recommend them because you changed my life, honestly. If I wouldn't have taken the decision and bumped into you into Instagram, probably I wouldn't have been here, I think, today.
So beautiful. Thank you. And I'm so glad that our paths crossed. First of all, where can people find you without trying to stalk you down on Instagram if they wanted to reach out? And I can also link your contact here. Is LinkedIn the best place to reach you?
Yes, definitely. I am more active there right now. Earlier, I was more active in LinkedIn because I was looking for a job, but I've now taken a pause because I wanted to a bit relax. So yeah, Instagram would be best, but also I'm very active in LinkedIn still. Like
LinkedIn.
if I get a
Amazing.
message and if I see it, someone is reaching out to me, I would always respond to them. Always.
Amazing. And what would you, last question, what would you tell someone who's literally in your shoes before you joined and they're trying to determine if getting support is the right next step and finances might be a concern as well? What would you tell someone that is in the shoes you were in prior to joining?
I would say that you are not alone. Maybe you feel that it is only happening to you. It's not just you. There are many people like that in this situation right now because of the situation all around. And then I would say that take that leap of faith. If you are self doubting that would it work for you or not, do it. That's what I did. I had touched the back. I mean, I didn't know where else to go. So that was my last resort. So I did it and I am here. So if I can do it, I think anyone can. So take that leap of faith, enroll, and I can guarantee it will be totally worth it. You can see me like where I was, where I am today. So I did it and you have to be your best self. Like you have to take the total, you have to utilize everything in the program. Just go through it. It's so understanding. It will instantly change your thinking process. It will instantly shift everything. So just go through it, read everything, understand, talk to you, and then just things will instantly change from there. So I would say this, take the leap of faith.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that right now, someone listening to this is getting hope because of your situation. So thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And I will see you very, very soon.